Hi, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I got inspired by another content creator that is Evangeline Molly. She made this kind of an experiment where she started making her makeup according to the essences of the Kitchener essences, so she could know exactly which one she had in her features. I got really inspired. I thought that it would be really funny or fun to make this little experiment with myself as well, to know which essence I have in my features. I forgot that I was going to shoot this today, so I started doing my makeup and I remembered when I just finished to do my base and a little bit of my blush. Anyway, for the next videos I will be having a better face. For this one, don't worry, I still do need to make even a heavier makeup because we are starting this little experiment with the dramatic essence. So this is my inspiration makeup. I found it in Pinterest. So with the dramatic essence, I saw that it is this bold look, angularity in the cheekbones. These are some of the cultural reference for this dramatic essence. Not all of the faces that has dramatic essence is always this angular, but there's always some kind of angularity in the face, most of the time in the jawlines or in the cheeks, having these really almond eyes or this really structured nose, but also can be dramatic having bold lips. That's what I saw, or having these long fingers, or these details that are a little bit more in your face, or like so. Okay, let's start doing the makeup. I'm going to start with the base. I'm gonna do a second layer of my base so we can have this more really kind of perfect skin. This is the amount that I usually use, that is only one little drop of my base. If I use a lot of base, sometimes my skin tends to have breakouts, so I try to not use a lot of base. For my base, I have the NARS. I just bought this one. I tried with other bases, but they always had something that I didn't like, the way that it suited, and also to my skin tone, because as I shared in a previous video, here in Mexico, like they always put us either on white people, like super white light skin people, or in the brown side and with warm undertones. Like I could not find neutral bases practically, and this was the only one that got closer to my neck color, so that is why about that it's a little bit more expensive. This is the most expensive thing that I have in my makeup, is the NARS base in the color L5 named Fiji. I'm gonna be using my little brush so I can put on the base, the second layer of the base. Okay, there is the difference. You can see how this side looks against this one. Most of the times I use my fingers, but it gets a little bit messy, and as I don't want to step out so I can work again with the frame of the video, I decided to use this brush this time. I don't like using the brush because just these little things, this little painting like lines that it leaves, it's so hard for me to be working on it, and it takes more time, and most of the times in the morning I'm just like, I just need to get this done so I can start my day. Now let's set this base. I'm using this powder from MAC. This is just a Skin Finish Natural Mineralized, and it is in medium golden. This one works perfectly when you just want to, if you're shining a lot and you don't like this kind of sweaty look or this glowy look. This is perfect for mattifying the skin. You just need a little bit to cover big areas. And I tried using the base without doing this, and honestly lasts less, and actually I leave a lot of marks around people, so I really need to do this. So for my palette today, I am using this one from Beauty Creations that is Irresistible. It has these little colors. This is the only palette that I currently have. I used to have a lot of palettes, but I realized that I most of the time didn't use them, and they will die on me, or, you know, like get expired and all of that. So I realized that I'm always doing neutral shadows, because I don't think that I have a lot of space in my eyelid. In order for me to, for the shadows to notice, I need to take them up to all this side. Sometimes I use a little bit of shiny shadows when it comes to special occasions like weddings or that kind of events. I'm gonna have to be using or doing some bronzer or doing more shadows in my face. As you can see, this makeup, it's all about the lifting, having like this sharp, enhancing the sharpness in the face. In this case, I'm gonna create or emphasize the little sharpness that I have in my face. I'm gonna be taking the tone Yours to doing my contour. I found it really fascinating when using a base, how everything, all the shadows and all the products looks even are more noticeable than when you're not using them, when you're not using a base. When doing my makeup, I feel like I'm doing this kind of painting where you're like coloring the your canvas first with your base color, and then you're just working. Okay, so now go on to the blush. I'm gonna be using my little hand mirror so I can be more precise. For my blush, I'm using the Pink Cup Cosmetics in the tone Blush Mauve. That the code is PKR04. On the other side, it's more like a line. I think that some of the difficulties with my face is that I have a small face, so I have to always work with the proportions of my face. And sometimes when doing, because I did try to be more, I don't know if I have shared in this channel that I was a big fan of makeup tutorials. So every time that I wanted to do a makeup of her, like she has dramatic essence. So she has a beautiful canvas to work with. And every time that I tried to follow one of her tutorials, I ended up like, it felt like everything was really compressed, because I have such a small face, because I'm a tiny person also. Like I'm not a big person. So if I wanted to do like this kind of rainbow makeup with all the 7 colors, it will be like practically doing just a little point from each color, and it really looked really weird. Instead of looking artsy, it will look like everything was compressed into one thing. Let's work now with the eyebrows. First of all, in this case, it seems like this girl painted like all her eyebrow. So in this case, I'm just gonna kind of want to untangle mine. I didn't thought that this will be working, but since I started doing it, it really does help. So your lashes do not stick together when you're applying the mascara, so it really helps. And I'm gonna be using this mascara Panorama from L'Oreal, this golden one, just to make them more emphasized and make them stay in there. Now let's start with the eyes. My skin is already feeling a little bit itchy for the base, and it is not this base. It always happens to me with bases. I don't know if you work with the skin, please let me know. if there is a reason because of this. My skin is really sensitive, so it's really annoying when you are into makeup. So for this makeup, as you can see, it's using pinks and purples, like really noticeable, and a little bit of shimmer in the center. For I do not have here one that is a little bit iridescent. However, my highlighter does feel more like that, so I think that I'm gonna be using this as the shimmer emphasis in the center of the eyelids. Okay, and for these ones I'm gonna be using Only Yours as a base. Then I'm gonna be using Smack on the top one and Kiss Me in the underline, obviously under the black eyeliner, and I will be sharing that right now. Okay, so let's get started with that. I'm gonna be using my Pink Up eyeshadow brush, this fluffy one. It's just because it's going to be about the face, the base of all the shadows. Now with a stronger brush, I'm gonna be placing the Smack one across the lid. Okay. I remember that this was an advice from Nikki, that when you had a little small eye, to take it a little bit up from the center up, to try to make it appear more of a big eye, or more that you had a little bit more of eyelid. Now let's go in the underline with Kiss Me. Let's try to trust in the process, so you don't find awkward every time that somebody's doing like their eyeshadows, that they look so bad before the eyelash or the eyeliner. It's just crazy how like just the shadow looks so weird. I'm looking right down here because I'm having a bigger mirror, so in this case I can check in these small mirrors like the details of the makeup, and in there I can see if how they look, how symmetrical they look. Let me get into this little baby. This is market label. It's called Miss Vanessa, and the name of this highlighter is Goddess of Love, and I really love that name. Okay, so let's do that. Place this little shimmer into the eyelids. Okay, I'm gonna use a little bit of True Love in the palette, so I can have in my inner corner of the eye. Just smudge that out. Let me see how this looks up in here as well. I think I do like it. Let me just add in the other eye. I'm not gonna put highlighter yet in this part because I want to finish all the eyes first. Okay, so now for the eyeliners, I'm gonna be using a pencil eyeliner from Pharmacy, and this is in the color Deep Brown. And for the liquid eyeliner, I'm gonna be using this fabulous one. Honestly, I didn't like this eyeliner at all because my eyelids are really sweaty, so this gets done like in about 2 hours. It's gone in my eyelids, so I really do not like it, but it was a gift, and I'm currently in this mindset of finishing things before I buy new ones. But I'm gonna leave you here the option that has worked for me in case that you also have that problem with eyeliners, that they are gone in a few hours. The MAC liquid eyeliner that is this one exactly. It's so good. When I was having my corporate job, I will put it in the morning, and by the end of the day it was still there. So it is a really good eyeliner if you have sweaty eyelids, and I truly recommend that. Definitely recommend that. Going back to the makeup, I will be using this one as the base, so I can, because if you see closely to the makeup, it is actually not in a liquid eyeliner. However, this one is brown, so I think it, even though it's really close to black, it is not black at the end of the day. So I'm gonna try to like make the base out of this, you know, smudge it out and everything. And if I need to, I'm gonna make this second coat with this one, so it gets a little bit more darker, so we can have this contrast, big contrast. That is one of the most characteristics in a dramatic. Let me just start with this one. Okay. I think that the largest point is up to here. Just gonna make this little mark that this is the end of the line. Perfect. We have to connect this one. It has been such a long time since I did this kind of eyeliner. Brings me back so much memories. I used to do this kind of eyeliners all the time because there was a time when I was like in my rockstar baddie kind of era, and I used to do this super large eyeliner in my face, and I truly loved it. Loved it so much. Okay. Okay, I don't know if it's a little bit too much. I don't know. I think it's there. I think that we need just to perfect some things, but it's there. Okay, and in this one, it's all in black. I'm gonna go a little bit off camera so I can do the upper side. I think that I'm gonna be using this one so I can sharpen the A. I feel that I look a little bit like from Swan Lake, like I'm doing the Black Swan. I really like this. I don't know if I will be using it like in a daily basics, but I think I really like this kind of eye. I have done this. I actually, let me just see if I can find a picture when I did a closer kind of look this way. I'm gonna put it right here. But I really like it. Okay. Okay, I think that's it. That's all I can do for this right now. I'm gonna be putting some mascara and curling my lashes. Okay, so the thing that I do to curl my lashes, I'm gonna be using again the panorama now for the lashes. It's that I try to look down because I do have a little bit of large lashes, but they are down, so they not shine that much. So I'm trying to do this so I can kind of do this, like holding them up, looking down, so they can stay up. And most of the time this doesn't happen, and I found this little trick by accident, because when I was doing my lashes, one friend was talking about a really juicy gossip. So I was hearing her audio, and I was like curling my doing this like with my mascara, and then she started telling me something really heavy, and I was just like just like this. And when I stopped, my lashes were way more up, and I just figured like, okay, maybe I can just do this on purpose so I can have more wispy eyelashes. Okay, she also have her lashes from the bottom done, so let's do that. I think that this one is the heaviest makeup because The next one will be gamine, that is the next sharpness features in their face, and for that we have a gamine, then we have natural, and then it is like classic. I think that maybe for the romantic it's going to be also a little bit heavy, but I think that dramatic is the one that has more effort when doing makeup. Now let's do the highlighter, because I think, okay, I think it looks better. Yeah, sometimes there are products that you need to be using your finger, because otherwise they do not shine at all. Now let's do the lips. So okay, I'm not the makeup expert, I just do what I can with what I have. Okay, so sorry. For my lips I'm just gonna be using the Get the Hint 664 from MAC. That this is practically my neutral. This is kind of like my nude color for my skin type. In this picture she's using a little bit of gloss, but I don't know if I want to add a gloss. Okay, so this will be the look when it comes to the makeup. I'm also going to be doing a little look, and for the hair I think that I'm just gonna re-wet my hair. Now I'm gonna be using a little bit of mousse, so I can put it down here. Let me just go to change and I'll be right back. Okay, can you hear me? I got changed. This is the outfit, and I'm gonna be using this Tresemme Muse, that is the one extra hold. It has 4 out of 5 points in Muse. I don't know what this means, but it is really a good product. It has helped me so much. I really like it because I think that works perfectly when you want to have this kind of slick back without feeling it really stiff. It does make the hair feel stiff, but you can brush it off and it will look more smooth. So I'm just gonna be using this to have this kind of slit back, kind of wet looking hair. No se te ocurra acabarte ahorita. Airbrush and doing this slit back. Okay, perfect. You see, it looks way smoother than with a hairspray or anything else. So I think that it's really good. I think that if you want to make a wet look for a lasting time, you should definitely start with the mousse and you start building it up with hairspray and more products, because it will really help to make the hair stay longer. Okay, so okay, perfect. This is the final look for the Dramatic Essence. I hope that you like it. Please let me know in the comments. Currently I think that it looks kind of cool. I don't know. I don't know if maybe it's the gamine in me that it can pull off a little bit more of an eccentric look, but I really like it. I truly like it. I think that emphasizes a lot of the eyes, and I really like my eyes, so it's really nice. Okay, so let me know in the comments what you think about this look, and I will see you in the next week. And I'm gonna see you next week so we can start doing the gamine, and it's gonna be eccentric but with a touch of fun and creativity, and I'm really excited for that because I definitely have never done a creative look, and I'm a little bit nervous, but I also really like painting, so I think it's going to look amazing. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video, and I'm gonna be leaving you a little bit of the pictures that we took with this look. See you next week. Bye.